Should you start a dumpster rental business? My name is Nate Jones, and this is Business Idea Breakdown, where I break down businesses and give them a score from 0 to 10 on whether I would start them or not. Anything over 8 is a business I would start. I've done other videos on my YouTube page, so go check it out and like and subscribe. And always comment below if you want to see me evaluate a business. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk about dumpster rental businesses, and I'm going to go through 6 things. Number 1, can you scale it? Number 2, is it profitable? Number 3, is it easy to start? Number 4, how much time does it require? And number 5, what are the challenges? And number 6, the most important thing that you should consider before starting a business is, can you sell it someday, and can you sell it for a multiple that is worth building it? Okay, let's get into this. Number 1, can we scale this business? When I was evaluating this business, this was hard because there's things I don't like about it, and then there's things that I really do like about it. And one of the things I really do like about it is the scale aspect. This dumpster rental business, you can really scale it because once you have that first dumpster being rented out, it seems like you can easily add another dumpster into the mix, and you can continue to add dumpsters as long as you have the deal flow or the flow of customers wanting to rent those dumpsters. So really like the scale aspect of it, and the nice thing I like about it, and I'll talk about this later, is the time. So as you scale your dumpster business, it doesn't require that much added time, which is really nice. I like businesses that I can scale that don't always equate to more time. All right, let's go into profitability. This is gonna be very interesting because there's a lot of nuances with this, so just bear with me as I use averages through this. I saw that if you have a dumpster roll-off business, if you're getting the big truck and the larger dumpster, I saw that an average truck that you're buying used is around 70 grand, and a used dumpster is around 4,500. So for us to, and I said, hey, the average that we're gonna rent this dumpster out for, depending on which dumpster size you get, I put 750 a week to rent your dumpster out. That's how much you're gonna make. Now you can make more, you can make less, I get it, but I'm just trying to use averages here. To pay for the dumpster of $4,500, you're gonna have to rent out that dumpster 6 times. It's pretty nice to make a profit over the dumpster. The truck is the biggest issue with this type of business for profit, because if you're paying for the truck outright, it's gonna take you 93 times for you basically to pay for that truck. Now obviously most people are probably not gonna buy the $70,000 truck in cash, so they're gonna have a down payment. So I did the math on a down payment. Truck's $70,000, and if you have a 5-year loan and the down payment's 10 grand, your monthly payment will be $1,132 a month. Year 1, you're gonna have the $10,000 down payment expense, $12,452 in payments towards the truck. That's $22,500 total so far, plus the $4,500 dumpster, plus $1,000 for insurance fees and all that. So I'm looking at a total investment of $27,952. To be profitable year 1, you're gonna have to rent out that dumpster 38 times. And that's one thing I don't like about this business, is that if you think of 38 times, you think of how many weeks there are in the year, right? There's 52 weeks in a year, so you're thinking 38, so you're saying, oh, so if things go better than planned, okay, over half the year, I'm not turning a profit. If things go worse than planned, you could potentially not be profitable year 1. So, not a huge fan of that, but I get it. I understand this business is more of a long play. It's more of a long-term thing. It's more of building it up. So I'm trying to bear through that, but in my head, I don't really like that. I like things I can turn a profit really quickly and get in and get out. So year 2, this is when the profit comes back in, and this is what people have probably talked about in the dumpster community, is that year 2, all you have is that truck payment, which is $13,584 because you paid off the dumpster, plus $1,000 in insurance and all that. So you're to make a profit year 2, you're at 19 rentals. So it looks like year 2, if you keep investing back in this business, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because year 2 you could probably buy another dumpster, and then your profitability goes up and up and up. So I think to profit this business, you have to be very patient, you have to be very disciplined, and watch the money. This is not a business that you can start and go live the high life on a hog and start, buying fancy houses and fancy cars. I think you're gonna really have to invest back in this business to make it profitable. All right, is it easy to start? I said not necessarily, depends on your background. You know, if somebody doesn't know how to drive a big truck, if it's a really big truck, you might need a CDL. It requires some capital to get started, right? I mean, even if you put no money down on a truck, you're gonna have to show that you have the wherewithal to basically pay for that truck loan. So I think it requires capital, and it's not as easy as I think some people portray it in Google and on YouTube. I think this is a little bit harder business to start, but if you have a background in construction or have driven big equipment before, I think this is a perfect business for you to transition into. Okay, the fifth thing here, the time aspect. This is another thing I love about this business, is that the time that it takes for you to be successful in this business is very minimal, right? You drop off that dumpster is dropped off, and then you pick up that dumpster a week later. So you think about the amount of time that it takes you is very minimal. So this is almost like when you're starting this business, it almost feels like a side hustle. You're making good money every time you rent it out, and it doesn't require a lot of your time. So I would say in the beginning, this is an awesome business, and as you scale, it may require a little bit more time of picking up and dropping off that dumpster, but this business is awesome because theoretically, you're only spending maybe an hour a week, maybe even less if the dumpster is really close to you, you gotta drop off the landfill. But I mean, this is an awesome business for your time and how much you're getting paid for your time after you turn a profit. The biggest challenge for this business, just like any other business out there, this is what I say on every video, is getting leads, getting jobs, getting customers. For this business, one thing I don't like about this business is gonna be the biggest challenge is you have to be renting that dumpster out. So before you start this business, me and my wife always talk about this when we're talking about businesses. We say, the first thing you need to do when you're thinking about starting a business, you need to see how it could go bankrupt, and you need to see how it could grow. You can sit here and you can talk about how you could grow the biggest dumpster rental business in the world, but you also need to sit there and you need to say, how could this thing go belly up? And the biggest thing that this thing could go belly up is if you're not renting out that dumpster. You buy the equipment, you have everything, you have your finances right, but you forget the marketing, you forget the lead generation, you don't know how to get dumpster leads, nobody's talked to you about that. Do not start this business, because you can have everything in the world, but if you don't have sales in a business will not stay alive. You have to have sales. Sales is the lifeblood of business. You have to be having customers coming in and buying, or you're not gonna be successful. But that being said, I think there's a lot of resources out there of how you can be successful in that. Okay, the last thing here, the most important thing, and then I'll get to my rating right after this, is can you sell this business? Yes, you can. I was researching some of these businesses that are for sale right now, and it was really interesting when I started getting into one of the listings that I saw, and the revenue of this business. I always like to evaluate businesses at $1 million in revenue, because I feel like that should be the goal for every business. Get to $1 million, and then think about, do you want to sell or do you want to continue to run that business? And I saw businesses doing $780,000 in revenue, and it was netting $201,500. So the net isn't very great on this. The profit margin's pretty low. I think you could probably have a more profitable one, but I started, okay, what are they asking? They're asking for $895,000. So the net is 201, they're asking for 895. They have $500,000 of assets. So from the net income, the 201 that this business is doing, it's selling for 3.8 times. And the $500,000 in equipment is included in that. So if you take 201 plus 500, then there's another 200,000 that is basically what the multiple is. So it seems like in the marketplace, the multiple is 2 times the net income, which is the EBITDA. So let's say your net income is 100 grand, 2 times 100 grand, that's 200 grand that you're gonna sell for, plus your equipment. So 2 times plus the equipment is what you could sell for. I think this business is a little high in my opinion. By the time you put a 10-year loan on this at 780, or about 895,000 asking price, by the time you put a loan on this, your cash flow is gonna be pretty minimal unless you can cut some expenses out and add back in some net income from that revenue. Whenever you buy a business, you should always be thinking, what can I minimize? What can I grow revenue, which might be really hard when you buy a business, or what can I minimize expenses to get my net income higher, to find the gap between the loan that I'm paying for and the net income so I can cash flow. So, looks like you can sell this business. So once you build it up, the business is kind of paying for the equipment itself, and then you look up in 10 years and you could probably sell this business for $1 million. So it's pretty cool, pretty good sale price. I gave this, the 2 things that I liked in this rating is scale and time. So I was trying to evaluate this business, and anything over 8 I would start. I evaluated this at a 7.3. And the reason I evaluated this as 7.3 is because me personally, I'm not a big person of taking on risk, taking on debt. I think the scary thing about this business is I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I would be constantly stressed about somebody renting it out. So if I figured out how to do the lead generation thing where it wouldn't be that hard, I would definitely do this business. But I think the scary thing for me is the economy aspect of it. A lot of people use dumpsters when the economy's good because they're remodeling, they're doing things like that. And when the economy goes down, dumpsters may sit around for a while. So I would be hesitant to start this business, but I do see the aspect of it is that you're building up that equity, and eventually the business kind of pays for itself and you have a lot of equipment, and then you can sell it someday. So in conclusion, pretty decent business. Make sure that you do your research and really think critically before you start this. Comment below any other businesses you want me to evaluate and do some research on. I'll be happy to help you. Like and subscribe. Thanks.